So you're looking for the best settings in Modern Warfare 3, but you have no idea where to start? Don't worry guys, I got you covered. I'm going to share my best settings with you guys right now for COD Modern Warfare 3. Let's go. What is up guys, my name is Nick and welcome back to another Modern Warfare 3 video. Today we're going to be looking at the absolute best settings for controller players, graphics, anything you guys need. We're going to get into that right now, but before we do, I want to show you guys something here quickly because you may not have noticed this, but sometimes when you're in the settings and you're just scrolling through the pages, for example right now we're on controller, we'll go to aiming, we'll go to gameplay, you might not have seen that, but in the aiming there's only 5 options, which is not supposed to be the case. So if you do see something like this, depending on whatever page you are on, just make sure that you go ahead and hold triangle on your controller or whatever it says down there at the bottom. For me it's triangle on the accessibility filter, and you guys can see that it will have more than 5 options now. We get a whole bunch of options in order to just get into all the good settings and change everything. So let's get into it guys. We're going to talk about controller settings first, then we're going to get into graphics and then audio. First thing first, you need to set your brightness to where it says not visible to actually be not visible. Too many times I see people put their brightness all the way up to 100 and it washes out their game, and instead of their game looking like this, it ends up looking like this, which is just completely horrible. So make sure you guys actually set it to not visible and barely visible. For me it's at 55. That seems to be the sweet spot, so make sure you guys actually don't put your brightness up all the way to. I gotta say, when you're using a controller, make sure that you guys set a few things properly. So we got bumper ping, we got that set to off, but we do flip the controls for sure. You want to make sure that you're flipping L2 and R2 for L1 and R1 in order so you can actually just aim down sights and shoot your gun just a little bit faster. It's gonna help you guys out a lot, and it does make a huge difference when playing multiplayer, even when Warzone comes out in this game, all that kind of stuff. That makes a huge difference. Stick layout preset, a lot of people go ahead and not touch this at all, and I recommend not touching it at all. Leave it to default. It is what it is. We got controller vibration. Don't even bother messing with this here. Just leave it at off. Don't even turn it on. Not worth it. It messes with your joysticks a little bit, so when the controller does vibrate, your thumb vibrates with it and you could lose a couple of gunfights because of that. So I've always turned it off ever since like Black Ops 2. I think I've always turned it off, and I wouldn't recommend turning this on ever again. And we got trigger effect off. Dead zone inputs. Now I would recommend setting this to the lowest possible you can for the left stick and for the right stick. You don't want to set this any higher, because the higher you put it, the more you're just gonna have to move those joysticks in order to get on target and stuff. If you set it to 1 or even 0 if you want, it's really easy to stay on target. It's really easy to actually just move those joysticks slightly to stay on target, and the higher you put it, the more you have to move those, and it gets a little more complicated. Now obviously if your controller is broken and you do have stick drift, you definitely have to put this up for whichever one you do have stick drift on. Unfortunately I got some stick drift on my controller right now, so I'm gonna set my right one to 5 and my left one to 1, and that's what I recommend right there for the dead zones. But for the sake of this video, we're gonna say put it to 1 and 1 as long as you don't have stick drift, and you should be good. And then after that, like, that's pretty much it for these settings right here. And we're gonna go over to the aiming, and we got horizontal at 12 and vertical at 13. Now the reason I have this is because this is not when I'm aiming down sights or anything. I don't have to worry about these being too high. I could even put these higher if I really wanted to. It has nothing to do with accuracy or aiming, so definitely put this as high as you're comfortable with. This way you could turn on enemies faster, you could dodge bullets quicker, you could run away from gunfights quicker and not have to worry about any of that. Now you might notice that my ADS sensitivity multiplier is locked. I do have it set to 0.80, but it is currently locked, and the reason for that is because I have my custom sensitivity per zoom set to on. So we're going to get to that in a second. You guys are going to see what I'm talking about, and I mean you could go in here and definitely go ahead and change these as well if you want. Even if it's locked, you could go ahead and change those. I just leave them as is, no need. Now my vertical aim axes, we got this all on standard, no need to change that as well. Tactical stance sensitivity, so this is when you're actually using your gun in tactical stance. I recommend going ahead and putting this down to 90. It's just a lot nicer. Your gun, because you're technically hip firing, you don't want this to be set to 1. You want it to be set to 0.90 so you guys can just stick on target a lot easier. So make sure you guys go ahead and do that. We got ADS sensitivity multiplier focus to 1. We got ADS sensitivity transitioning to instant. Okay, you don't want to put this to gradual or after zoom. You want to put it to instant so that your sensitivity changes the second you ADS. If you have it set to like right here at 12 and 13, whatever you have it set to on that ADS is where you want to have it it instantly change to. Now my custom sensitivity per zoom is going to change per zoom level that I'm using. So for low zoom, I use 90. 0.90 is nice. This is pretty much like your red dots at your basic sights, and then your iron sight as well. Then for the 2 and 3 time, we got 0.85. The 4 and 5, we got 0.85. 6, 7, 8, 9, we got 8.0, and then anything higher than that, we got at 0.75. That's pretty much it right there. So everything else, I would just recommend copying what I got here. Aim assist type, Black Ops seems to be the best. I don't know why, it's really nice to use. Precision focusing, don't use those. I would either stick with default or Black Ops. Default is going to be like the original Modern Warfare games. Black Ops is, well, Black Ops. Come on, you already know what that is. Then we got third person. Again, I don't touch that. Motion sensor behavior, I am not touching these as well. So we're going to leave those on off. No need to turn those on whatsoever. Gameplay wise, now we got a lot of things that we could change here too. And there's just a few things that I want to talk about quickly. So automatic sprint off, sprint tack off, or toggle I should say. Auto move forward off. I don't like having that on as well. Tactical sprint behavior, double tap, so you have to double tap to tactical sprint. And then pretty much right here you can cancel everything that I have, or not cancel, copy, my bad, everything that I have right here, and just go ahead and use all of these things. But there's one more thing I want to talk about, and that is, let's see, it's right here. This one right here, the tactical stance activation. This is how you activate your tactical stance. Currently on default, what you have to do is ADS and then press down on the D-pad. I don't like that at all. I feel like it wastes a lot of time. You got to take your finger off of the actual moving button, the joystick I should say. You don't want to have this set to ADS plus down button. I have it to double tap ADS. So the second you double tap your ADS, you're automatically in tac stance, and then you got to double tap again to get out. Now you could sprint around, obviously you're not going to be stuck in tac stance, but every time you go to ADS, if you don't double tap out, you will be in tactical stance. So make sure you guys just keep that in mind. Double tap ADS is the best for that. And then pretty much here, again, you could just copy pretty much what I have. It's the same as Modern Warfare. I didn't really mess with these settings too much, but it is what it is. Next off, I want to go ahead and talk about audio. Before we get into the graphics, audio is pretty important. And for the audio mix, I have headphone bass boost. This is probably the best one. I like it. I could hear footsteps super easily with that right there. And then for speakers, I got my default, which obviously I'm using it connected through my Yeti, but I'm using my actual Astros connected to my Yeti microphone. So I mean, whatever you guys have it to, you could just set it to whatever. And then master volume, we got to 40, but here's where it gets interesting, all right? So gameplay music volume 30. We don't want that too loud. We don't care about it too much. Dialogue volume, again, we're going to set this over to like 70. This is the voiceover that the characters say in-game. Has nothing to do with people that you hear and stuff. It's just the voiceover of the in-game characters. Effects volume, we're going to leave this really to the max, so 100 for sure. You want to hear footsteps, you want to hear gunshots, it's all coming from the effects, so make sure you guys set this to the maximum. And then voice chat volume 50, I don't care about hearing a lot of people on voice chat. In fact, I mute most of them most of the times, but it is what it is. And then cinematic music volume, this is fun. It's the music at the beginning and the end of the rounds and stuff like that. I set it to 100. It's just nice to hear. Voice chat, all lobby on, everything, all this. You guys can go ahead and copy again what I have. Push to talk, because I'm recording right now. If someone joins the lobby, I don't want them to hear me talking. It's a little awkward, so got that set right there. And that's pretty much it that I wanted to show you guys for the audio. Now let's get into the actual graphic settings, because this is where it gets pretty fun. So we're going to skip display. It has to do with whatever monitor you're using, and I think if you're on PlayStation and Xbox, you don't even have the option for display there. So first off, graphics preset, we're going to set to custom, okay? I don't know if you have it on console, but I would just set it to custom and change everything yourself. Render resolution, I have mine set anywhere from 90 to 105. I wouldn't recommend going higher than that. I'm currently at 98. It does make the game look a little worse the lower you go, but at the same time, you get more FPS, and I prefer FPS in this game, so definitely set that to 98. Dynamic resolution on, Fidelity FX cast we got right here, and then we have it set to 65 for the upscaling and sharpening. And then for the VRAM scale target, we're going to set that to 80. Variable rate shading, we got set to on. Texture resolution, I put it to low. You could definitely put it higher. I could definitely put it higher as well. As you guys could see, my target, we're not even close to it, but the reason I put it to low is you get more FPS, and it just makes the game a lot more smoother. Texture filter, we got to low. Depth of field on. Detail quality normal, we don't need to set this higher or anything like that. Particle resolution normal. Bullet impacts on. persistent effects on, shader quality medium. We could put a higher or lower. I just feel like medium's okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really change the FPS by much, if anything, just like 1 frame per second. So I wouldn't really do that. On-demand texture streaming, I set this to off. And this is because every time I start up a game, my game just lags like crazy. Even if my FPS is at like 120, 190, 100, 220, I don't know. I just lag like crazy until I die, and then I play well. So I realized if I turn off on-demand texture streaming, that I actually don't go through that as often. So just for me, I have it off. You could definitely set it on if you want. Local texture streaming quality low, shader quality low, screen space shadows low, ambient occlusion off, screen space reflection off. Just got a weird hiccup right there. Static reflection quality we got to low. Tessellation near, terrain memory max. Volumetric quality medium. Deferred physics quality low. Weather grid volumes off. Water quality all, and that's it. And then for view, my field of view I got set to 110. You could change this. I don't like setting it too low, but I also don't like putting it at 120. I used to play at 120 all the time, but I feel like it's too much. It makes those real long distance fights seem very, very far. And this game has a lot of long distance, so I would even recommend putting this lower. I'm kind of used to 110, so that's what I'm going to leave it at. ADS field of view affected, weapons field of view wide, third person field of view 80, vehicle field of view default, motion blur, weapon motion blur, all that kind of stuff, set it to off, film grain 0. You guys already know the rules, least for all of these right here, and that's pretty much it right there. That's it for the settings. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, sub to the channel with those notifications turned on, and let me know down in the comments below what your current sensitivity is at, what you guys play on for your sensitivity. I'm actually interested in knowing all that. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Nick, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.